Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I don't know why I am blurry, but we will go with it. Thumbs up if you can hear me. I know you can see me, but for some reason the camera is blurry. I don't know. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't know if you can hear, but it's raining out. But I needed to step into the elements and get my nature therapy. How are you doing today? Today is a rainy day. It was downpouring and it was a little disturbing, but all good things is it didn't thunder or lightning. So that was good. I was able to sleep with a little bit of downpours. It's about 60 degrees Fahrenheit and we are on Wednesday, the middle of the week. How are you doing? So what's going on for Wednesday? Well, when we start making strides in our lives, whether it's personal or professional, we want to make sure that there is some results in the path that we've chosen, So, as you saw today's title, Stop Surviving, Start Living. And the best way to measure that or to take inventory is to understand that the proof is in the transformation, and as a business owner, as a family member, as a daughter, and so forth. Sometimes we get blindsided by the transformation that we are making. We get so inundated in following the proper path, making sure our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. What does that mean for you? Well, when we are working on personal and professional development, we want to see results. We want to see the proof and the transformation. If you're going on a wellness journey and you want to start exercising and eating healthy, you want to see results, and you want to make sure it's measurable and you can scale on the anticipated goal and results that you want to achieve. In other words, I know, pardon me, when I worked at my last job, which I absolutely loved, it was a holistic and wellness center. And a lot of people were skeptical because they didn't have the mindset that if they made modifications in their lifestyle that they can achieve transformation. And one of the great things is we were able to assist individuals lose weight, stay healthy, maintain their mental health, and through the collaboration with their physician or their personal trainer, if they didn't select us, was that they were able to wean off medications naturally. They were able to see muscle mass in great quantity. They were able to get and improve their sleep. They were able to have more energy. And how was this? This was in the proof of transformation. So when you are thinking about your life, when you're making a change, one of the key things that I hone to is, where I'm going with this, is number one, tracking. I'm a personal accountability coach as well as a legacy and lifestyle coach. So tracking is everything. A lot of people joke with me because they say, Andrea, if I need anything, you are the CIA or FBI of my life. So I don't know if you can see it here. Probably not. But I have been, because I was on this journey track of transformation this year, since probably February 18th, looks like the first login, to the current day, which is October 8th, I've been tracking my sleep. Now, Andrea, how do you do that? Well, I give a wiggle room about 15 to 30 minutes before I shut everything off. And then I log in after I wake up with gratitude attitude and start my day the time I wake up. And it's really important because it allows me to understand what days or what times of the month or year that I have adequate sleep and off sleep. Same thing with my eating schedule. That I believe I started a little bit later. I started in June. Yeah, I started tracking my nutrition. Why? Because there were times, ladies and gentlemen, that I would not eat for about 12 to 15 hours unintentionally. I'm not talking about a fast. I would just get into the zone and forget to eat until probably about a week or a few recently, I again, time means nothing to me, that I ended up feeling faint. Luckily, I was on the phone call with a loved one, and I was trembling. I almost lost consciousness. I was just really dizzy, lightheaded, and it realized it was almost coming up upon 20 hours that I hadn't eaten at all. So that's the proof in the transformation. As you're tracking your day, your habitual rituals, your resources, your connections, if you're feeling unwell, you're able to find the proof in the transformation. Why is this important? Because it holds you accountable. You're able to kind of understand based on the foods you eat, why you're feeling well or not well, the amount of sleep, your productivity ratio, as well as if you're working out, you're able to kind of build mass as well as maintain a livelihood that is of wellness. Because why? Your health is your number one asset. But when we talk about the business world, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're an admin, or if you are working for a company, you want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence on the mental health check, the mindset check, as well as the wellness check. Now, old school, long time ago, they said to leave your drama at the door. Leave your home life at home as soon as you walk through the office. Leave your office at the office as soon as you walk through the doors of your home. And when I realized this, it was very key. So as a business owner, one of the things that I've worked on with a lot of individuals was their ability to break from survival mode and go into living mode. Well, you say, Andrea, I'm living. Yes, but here is an amazing testimony that I received during my journey thus far. And you might have seen it on my testimonial reels, posts, or what have you across social media. This individual said, they had said to me, Andrea, I finally stopped surviving and started living. I realized this mission is bigger than me. I'll repeat it again. This individual said, Andrea, I finally stopped surviving and started living. I realized this mission is bigger than me. And when we have that sense of clarity that we're not on survival mode, we're on thriving mode, then that's really important, because I believe that's a significant factor of a aha moment when you are dealing with personal and professional development. And that's what the power of play, Plan Life According to You, is about. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. You know, I say there's no such thing as perfection. If you find somebody who's perfect, send them my way, because I have a lot of questions to ask for them. I've seen people all over this globe, being virtual, reclaim their voice. I've seen them rebuild their vision. And I've also seen them finally know and live a life aligned with their purpose and passion. And now you can do it too. It's really important that you learn that, because when we are in survival mode, we're just kind of busting through the barriers, and we're just kind of going and running on fumes, pardon me. But when we're on living mode, we're absorbing all the context of the world, all the context of using the six senses: sight, smell, taste, sound, touch, and then that extra one that is just intuitive. And so when we look at sight, sound, taste, touch, and feeling, at sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, and then that extra sense, that sixth sense, it's just amazing on how you can start rearranging your life. And this really happened to me when I fell ill in the hospital. You know, it was just shy of the 10-year anniversary of my mom's memoriam. And I'd have to ask my family members, but I really and wholeheartedly, in my heart of hearts, don't think I really ever had the time to grieve, because I just was in complete denial, the stages of grief. So I just went right back to work and dug into my work and just kind of not dealt with my emotions. As you hear, your emotions can be your masters or your messengers, and they became very masterful in my life because I wouldn't address them, I wouldn't deal with them, but then I would start utilizing or attacking others immediately. I was on reactive mode as opposed to responsive mode. And so survival, it's kind of like looking at nature, survival of the fittest. But when we start living, it's a beautiful thing. We're cognizant of our surroundings. We're cognizant of the people we connect with. We're cognizant of our mindset and our mission in this world on to answering the call to find our higher self, instill and restore our faith and belief system, and have purpose. So when you look at start living, what does living mean to you? Does it mean that you are aligning yourselves with your morals, ethics, and values and putting them into purpose? Or is it starting to increase and enhance your empathetic quality, really tapping into the world and seeing what you are able to control and modify as opposed to dictate and lecture? We want to help and change other people, but first it starts within. I mean, look at how difficult it is for us to change our habits. We're approaching the last quarter of the year, October, November, December, and we're almost in the midst of mid-October already. And so when we want to make those resolutions or those changes that we want to make in our life, it takes a toll on our body, mind, and spirit, and it takes time. So start living in the moment. And the first way to do that is with, where I'm going, gratitude attitude. Gratitude attitude sets the foundation of moving towards something fabulous, something familiar, something fruitful. When we have the gratitude attitude, we understand where we've been and where we are right now. And we don't have to worry about where we're going. We just have to be in the present because our presence is a gift to another. And show up 100%. Show up and never give up. After gratitude attitude, we start filling the gap. We start acting with attention and intention. Our actions are making us accountable for the direction we want to go in, mindful of our emotions, and putting us in the right direction. We have an internal GPS system that sometimes we have to readjust and push north to level up our success. So filling the gap, GAP, gratitude attitude, A, acting with attention and intention with accountability, and P, having patience, ladies and gentlemen. Patience is key because a lot of us don't have it. We want perfection. We want progression. We want it yesterday. We want it, last year. But we have to understand something. When we're on this timeline, it's not of our doing. Everything happens for a reason and within a season. And whatever your belief system is, the universe, a higher self, or, the higher one in your life already knows what you're going to do. They already know and have a roadmap of what you're going to take. It's just a matter of you being aware and aligning your mind, body, and soul and spirit towards that direction. And if you fall off track or fall off the path, sometimes individuals will take the path less traveled and discover it on a more beautiful path with the scenery of florals and foliage and sunsets and sunrises and puffy clouds, where others go deep in the trenches of the darkness, the suffering, the sacrifices, the shallow lands, the rugged terrain. But eventually, if we have that faith belief system, we will all end up eventually, if done right, on the path that was created for us before we even came here. And so in that, I want to ask you, comment down below, are you surviving or are you living? Are you surviving just to kind of check those boxes and hit those mile marks? Or are you actually living and loving what you're doing, living in the moment, making connections, making experiences, making memories, and making every moment count? Living is with a lightheartedness of loving unconditionally, respecting ourselves and one another, as well as making the effort at all expense to understand one another. Living is living through the heart. And that's the key component that I want you to take away today, is that when you shift and make that transformation from survival mode to living, everything is going to work out for you. Because in survival mode, we are thinking that life is happening to us, that we are the outcomes of our circumstances. When in reality, when we shift the mindset to living, we have the ability to take that internal GPS, turn it north, and embrace the journey every step of the way. Because, like I said, dreams don't have destinations. Pardon me. Dreams don't have deadlines. They create destinations. Think about that. Dreams don't have deadlines. They create destinations. And it's the destination en route to the destination that you have and share these amazing, beautiful experiences. And when we have unfavorable experiences, it's through those times, those toughest times, that triumphs are won, because we are able to experience something toxic, something unfavorable, something sad, but it makes us appreciate, going back to that gratitude attitude, it makes us appreciate for what we have. So the key point takeaways is that, number one, you must understand that my methodology of play is not so much focusing on perfection, but constant steps towards progression. Secondly, the other component is that when you go from survival mode to transformational mode, you then start living. So you go from survival to living. And it's a beautiful experience when you do so. And then how do you do that? You fill that gap. And what does that gap contain of? And what are the strategies for that? Gratitude, attitude. G, gap. A, accountability, awareness, acting with attention and intention. And finally, the letter P, patience and positivity, will lead to progression. So that's what I have for you guys today. I wish it was very helpful. I encourage you always to make that first step, because as Don Shula, the NFL coach, has formerly said, it's the start that stops us. So if you're ready to start your transformational journey, then connect with me. Put in the comment section, living. And if this resonates with you, kindly share it out, like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me support and get my message and mission out to those worldwide. And on that, my name is Andrea Mason, your first choice, your global voice, alumna of Les Brown, the CEO of Press Play, Plan Life According to You, your legacy and lifestyle consultant, as well as your personal accountability coach, where I get you from victim to victorious and living a life unloved to a life worth living. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This is your weekday, Monday through Friday, daily dose drop. And you can find the playback housed on my YouTube channel, Andrea Mason, From Victim to Victorious. I wish you all good luck. I will see you tomorrow. Be safe and be well.